and rabbit hole moment.
Yep.
At the end of the day, us as farmers, our goal is to produce sugar with plants. How that happens is sunlight. So in my neck of the woods, the amount of sunlight change that happens compared to Josh Pretzer Farms is actually more significant than further down south. Oh, heck, even when I came down there to do the drone demo, I remember saying, how do you guys get stuff done? The sun ain't up until 6:15.
Right.
Because up in my neck of the woods, there's times I'm leaving the house at 5:20 and sun's coming up. So going back to the main point is our job's harvesting sunlight. So when it comes to like soybeans, heck, even corn, earlier planted stuff has more opportunity to take sunlight and generate sugars. I know this is going a little agronomic, and we've been talking financial.
I was going to say, can you talk a little bit about the correlation of sunlight to plants and sugar? Because I think there's a lot of us out there that don't realize the exchange that's going on. Talk about that agronomic exchange, that cycle that's happening.
Well, at the end of the day, a plant's job is to take the sun's energy, create sugars, then it forms into a produce, which is its reproduction or seeds, right? So how I picture it is summer solstice happens end of June 20th. So if you go a month before that, that's April. If you go 2 months before it, it's May, then it goes to April. Okay, so if you planted April 20th, you have 2 months of sunlight increasing the whole time.
Okay.
Getting more and more and more. Go on the other side of that, you go 2 months, you're looking at the end of August. Okay. In neck of the woods. Okay, that's the crops trying to finish up, all that jazz. If you planted early. Okay. You move that a month, that means you're still growing a month later, which is September 20th. The amount of sunlight change that happens there at the end of that crop's life is significantly less. So it has less hours to produce yield of sunlight. So if you plant earlier, I'm saying make sure soil conditions are right. Don't get me wrong.
It moves your peak sunlight performance to a different stage in the plant's life.
And it gets more sunlight, period. The more sunlight, the more sugar produced. Usually more yield. So by changing that planting calendar, in my area, it gets significant because of how much time changes from summer solstice to fall solstice. Or solstice.
Solstice.
Yeah. So, and I didn't really start thinking about until this year, like, why does it really matter in my neck of the woods or where I'm at? It's just sunlight. It's the amount of sunlight. Because, I was like...
Generally, the most impactful things on a crop don't cost anything.
Yeah, because I had a gentleman... So he planted early, and not going to lie, the next 4 days after that was not good conditions. Wet, cold rain, had bad population come up. But comparing that to somebody that planted 3 weeks later, he still had 10 plus bushel advantage.
Wow.
And he had way less stand out there.
Sure.
So it tells me that there's more just letting the plant do its thing with making sugar than not.
Yeah.
So things, what can we look at? Like in my area, I'm going to be mean April 1st if people call me saying, like, if they're not ready, if the planter's not even been looked through yet. Like, I'm going to be upset. And I told them that. I was like, I'm going to be rude and say it needs to get done. And the reason why is there's opportunity that we're going to lose if that doesn't happen until May 1. There's opportunity costs there. And gosh, just things. Little things with it, making sure you're covering ground when you need to cover ground, fertilizer efficiencies,
getting out, digging behind your planter.
Yeah.
When you're changing soil types.
Yeah.
Going from a clay to a silty loam.
Yep.
It's amazing, man. Guys just once they set it in one field, they just go. And it's easy. You learn so much digging behind a planter.
I don't know why this just popped in my head. I think it's the good Lord telling me to share it.
Okay.
But when I was teaching, if I would have just thought every kid was the same, I would be saying that's not good. Why do we think about that with dirt?
Sure.
Everything's I'm not saying spend a lot of money to figure out those differences, but on the same token, maybe always check when you change, just to make sure things are still optimal in that situation. Yeah. Every time that you're doing something to that field.
So it makes me...
Guys, if you've liked the information that you've seen so far, go ahead and check out the full-length podcast on our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe there. It's also on all the major podcast platforms. We're constantly dropping in and more content on all the social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, etc. Check it out for a lot more content.